welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully not any children, to Goonies World. I am Ryan, also known as Mean. Joining me today, and as always, I have Sean, also known as Johnny Pharaoh.
Hello, everybody.
And Colin, also known as Goonie.
Hey there.
And today we're going back to the world of Jupiter Springs, but not the town of Jupiter Springs, I believe.
Yes, or the system, for that matter.
Or yes, not kids on bikes today.
It's almost adults on bikes because two of the characters
are bikers.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that parallel, but that's very true.
Yes, we played Kids on Bikes several episodes ago, which you should go back and listen to if you haven't. This is set in the same universe, in the same world, only it's very far away from Jupiter Springs. It's not that far away because it's in Nevada.
Well, yes, true.
As opposed to Northern California. And we are in prison. We are in prison at the infamous Hardgate.
We should say what system we're playing.
Yes, last time, of course, our Kids on Bikes game, we used Kids on Bikes, that system. And today we're using Fudge. And both our characters are going to be in prison tonight. In fact, they have been in prison for a while already, but they are new to Hardgate. So, without further ado, let us investigate this hard time in Hardgate and see if there's anything that our heroes can do to get out of this prison. I'm not even sure if they are heroes. First of all, Goonie, tell us a little bit about the character you're going to be playing tonight.
My name's Duke Allen Dale. He doesn't go by his full name, Allen. You know, that's just when you're like serial killers are sometimes given their full name, but they don't actually go by that. Or assassins.
John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, they don't actually. John Wayne Gacy probably didn't say his name was John Wayne Gacy. Probably just said
John Wayne Gacy.
Yes.
Well, in that case, maybe since it's John Wayne, but Lee Harvey Oswald didn't say his name was Lee Harvey Oswald. Just Lee.
Yeah, like John Wilkes Booth probably didn't.
Yeah. So that was a long explanation, but his name is Duke Allendale, and he just goes by Duke. And he's a former, well, I don't even know if he could say former, but he was in, I won't necessarily say his whole backstory since Polly will play some of that, but he was in a motorcycle club in Jupiter Springs, called the Night Rangers, and
once a Night Ranger, always a Night Ranger.
Yep. And so, but he's been in prison. That was like way back in the 70s when he first was arrested for killing a man during a bank robbery. He pled guilty, and he's been in prison ever since, but he's been transferred around. Before here, he was at Leavenworth. And he is like a big guy with big bushy goatee and like slick back hair. He looks like what you would think of as a convict. You know, he's got a spider web tattoo on his neck, and he's got some other tattoos which might come out later. But yeah, that's him.
All right. And Ryan, how about your character?
Well, I'm Frank Williams Jr., born in Murfreesboro, Tennessee in 1945. And, I reckon I was going to be a country star. I moved to Nashville when I was 14, and I had a couple small local hits, but then this rat bastard named Hank Williams Jr. started stealing all my songs, and he got real successful and famous, and I reckon he owes me for that. But anyhow, disenfranchised, I drove my motorcycle out west where I belong, and joined up with this motorcycle club, and ended up sort of just running some drugs and doing various things, and ended up getting caught down in Louisiana. Got sent to whatever prisons in Louisiana. I didn't do any research on that.
They all bad.
All bad. Baton Rouge Penitentiary or some shit.
That's right. All right. Well, now you've both, however, been transferred to Hardgate. Hardgate's out in the middle of nowhere, seemingly, in Nevada. The closest town is called West Wells, and it's noteworthy for a small casino. But that's 30, 40 miles away, far from the prison. The prison is next to an area that is with a capital W called the Wilderness. And it's just an area of deep pitted ravines and pine forests and things like that. Generally pretty dry country. The other settlements that are around here are mostly Musterite settlements. And Musterites are an extreme sect of Mormonism that have been disavowed by most mainstream Mormons, in fact.
Fictional, I think.
Yes, and they are fictional, the Musterites. And in terms of exactly what makes them so extreme, it's hard to tell from the outside, but rumors are they definitely have some kind of alien Christ theology that they can populate other worlds after their death and so on and so forth. But it gets very hazy, and without knowing much about religion in general, which I'm sure you guys don't, unless it's some kind of old school church from your youth.
Southern Baptist.
Yeah, out there, First Murfreesboro Southern Baptist. And, well, at least you'll be immune to snakes. So, anyway, those are some of the other communities that are close by. There is almost a compound rather than a town called Musterton that is nearby, and they say that the Musterites have a pretty strong influence in the prison because so many of them have been thrown into prison due to violating local laws, property laws, things like that. Quite a few bigamists are in there, unrepentant bigamists, and so on and so forth. That's about what you guys have heard about it, other than there's fairly safe factory work drilling holes in the faceplates of ATM machines. And they also make gravel here, which is said to be shittier work that is usually a punishment detail.
Literally breaking rocks.
Literally breaking rocks in the hot sun.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. And of course, it's not always hot here, but it's hot right now. As you arrive, as you both coming in from separate buses, separate different directions at more or less the same time. And there are, the prison is all on this flat expanse of kind of baked ground, and there's some various scrubs around. And again, off to your west, there's some hills and a wilderness type area, and off to the east, there is West Wells, which does have a regional airport, but it would be just a straight shot down a highway through not a lot of covered country. You notice as you drive in. You could possibly get lost somewhere in the wilderness for a while. But in every other direction than west, it looks like wide open spaces with very few places to hide. This is the type of things you think about as you're approaching a prison, perhaps just fantasies of escape as you look out the bus windows. But inside this this area that encompasses a few acres of land and several buildings inside, this great big gate opens. You can see there are 6 big watchtowers around the walled compound you're driving into. And there's an open yard and several other buildings. You can tell one must be a factory. There's like 3 buildings together forming kind of a triangle that look like they're probably obviously the cell blocks. And out beyond that, there's a great big yard with all the prisoners outside right now in this hot afternoon, taking their exercise in the yard. And of course, they all line the chain link fence as the buses come and unload you and about a dozen other prisoners. And as you two both get off the buses, you see one another and you recognize one another from your motorcycle club days. And there's a few seconds as you get in line there, convicts. A few seconds you can mutter and talk to each other while they're lining everybody up. Meanwhile, the guys lined up along the fence, the other they're all making cat calls and wolf whistles and all kinds of stuff. We're gonna cut you up, boy! Things like that.
That you, Frank?
Huh? You heard of me?
Yeah, I know you. You know me.
Do I? Oh, let me see your neck
time
there, son. Is that Did you say there was a spider web tattoo? I was
Yeah,
like, yeah. Oh, it's Allendale.
Now,
He's the one guy.
I told you about 1,000 times. I don't use the Allen in my name. I say it just so it's out there, but then I tell you it's Duke Dale. It's my name. Not Dale Duke, not Allen Dale, not Allen Duke. It's Duke Dale.
From now on, your name is prisoner number 344. Get in line there, boy, says a guard, and he taps you on the back of the thighs with his stick. And, in fact, you're both given a prison number, and there are just four random numbers, and I'll let you guys go ahead and pick. I don't remember even what I just said. Was it 3544?
344?
Something like that. And, now, theoretically, that is your name, and but right now everybody's just lined up, and there's a little podium set up by a building that says administration on it, like somebody's supposed to come out and give you a speech or something. There's a guy in a uniform with a wide-brimmed state trooper style hat, wearing sunglasses, chewing some gum, waiting. Looks like he's waiting. He's not sitting by the microphone where you'll be spoken to. He's waiting, and it's just a long pause. There's still some more yelling from the prisoners who are lined up, but by this time the guards have come up and banged on the fence and made them go back to what they were doing. And it gets to the point where it's awkward. They're waiting for somebody who's not showing up. And eventually someone runs out of the administration building. A woman, in fact, creating more catcalls from the peanut gallery in the yard. And she comes out and whispers something to the man in the broad-brimmed hat. And you can see his name tag says Howell. His last name is Howell. It appears that he's the assistant warden. She whispers something, and he shakes his head and looks mildly disgusted, and then himself steps up to the microphone. The girl runs back inside. She's a very attractive young girl. It's been a while since you've seen one out running around like that. Obviously some administration worker. It appears, convicts, that the warden will not be able to address you today as he is indisposed. I'm Assistant Warden Howell. You no longer have a name. You no longer have an identity. You are your prisoner number. You are all automatically, by default, assigned jobs at the factory. If you do well there, you may get promotion. You may get special privileges. If not, you will be breaking rocks in the hot sun. That is all. And then you're pushed into a intake line where you're fitted out with a prison jumpsuit with your number stenciled on it. And I think that these are probably bright orange prison jumpsuits.
That's what I was imagining.
I'd love to go with the old school black and white stripes, but I think we're in orange jumpsuit era here.
Did we say that this is in the 80s?
Yo, yeah. Well, we didn't specifically say that. It did take place. It does take place in the 80s. Not only the same setting geographically as our fictional Jupiter Springs world, but the same time period as well. And so you're fitted out with your uniforms and so on, and then assigned to your cell blocks. And hey, what's your favorite color of these three colors? Do you like salmon or light green or light blue?
Is this who's asking this?
The DM is asking the players.
Oh,
Yes.
light blue for me.
Okay. How about you?
Do I have to pick a different color?
No?
I like light blue also.
All right. Well, you guys are assigned to cell block C. And you can see they're splitting up the prisoners into different cell blocks. You guys walk through one gate that leads you into the building, through a small little hallway with glass walls that there are guards inside of. You can see some shotguns hanging on the walls in there, and video recording readouts, and these great big gigantic 80s monitors behind the wall. But there's not that. There's only like 4 guards in there. You go through another door at the end of that little hallway, and it opens up into the cell block, and it goes up 2 stories. But the second story is, just like a balcony that's ringing the place, and that's all lined with this really heavy chain link so that nobody can jump off the balcony or push somebody off the balcony. And there's stairways to get up to that second level on either side. And in the middle, on the floor, In the central area, there are metal tables and benches that are all permanently attached to a concrete floor. And there's some TVs in cages. On either side, they're playing daytime TV shows that most of you guys do not want to watch, probably. And you're roughly pushed along by the guards to your cells. Meanwhile, everybody's screaming and hollering. And then you hear a ooh. Somebody's yelling from one of the upper and is echoing throughout. And you know this is the cry of the Pale Riders. And the Pale Riders are a motorcycle club. They're violently opposed to the Night Rangers. You realize the Pale Riders have noted you and marked you on the way in. You're still not sure where that strange call is coming from, but there's a lot of rude laughter. And anyway, Frank, you're taken first to your cell. And inside, of course, you see some basic toiletries, toothbrush, toothpaste. There's a toilet and a sink, and 2 bunk beds. Except the beds are at the upper level, and there's like a little writing table and a stool underneath, the bunk where the lower bunk would be. These are both on opposite sides of the wall, and there's somebody in here already. There's a door clanging shut behind you. You find yourself in here with really a very unthreatening looking person. And he's got a very serious comb-over and small and slight. Greetings. Hello, how are you? Looks like we're going to be roommates.
I guess so. What's your name, boy?
Name's Spivey. What's yours?
Spivey. My name is Frank. Frank Williams Jr. from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Frank Williams Jr.
That's right.
Wow. Okay. So, Tennessee, really? Wow.
That's right.
From Cleveland, Ohio, myself.
Ohio, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Ain't too far from Tennessee.
No. I guess we're simpatico in that way. I guess hopefully we'll get along. I don't want any trouble. I'm not a violent guy. I'm a white-collar criminal.
Oh, a white-collar criminal. Not one of them Pale Riders, then.
Oh, no, not at all. No, in fact, they're one of the most powerful gangs in this prison.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, you've basically got your 3 main gangs in this prison. You have the Pale Riders, and I wouldn't say they're out and out Aryan, but they've certainly got a strong streak of that. And on the other side of the spectrum, you've got the Dog Pack. And the Dog Pack is just no one to mess with either. That being said, you got a third player in the mix, the Heller Gang. They're Musterites. They're fanatics. They've named themselves after Jacob Heller, the founder of Musterism. And they're kind of a wild card in the mix, as it were. So, if I were you, I'd align myself with one of those gangs.
Well, none of them sound all that good to me, to tell you the truth now.
Well, none of them are, no. I only survive because I'm pretty good at making documents, you understand, if I'm given the proper...
Oh.
So I can help everybody out a little bit, and therefore I generally don't get beaten and raped.
Well, that's good for you, I imagine. It sounds like you could be a very resourceful, useful person, say, at some point. But not any Night Rangers around that you're aware of in any meaningful numbers, then.
Well, Night Rangers, what?
Yeah. Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good.
Yeah,
But he doesn't... Okay.
Unfortunately, he's not heard of them.
All right.
Not a big enough game, I guess.
I'm not really what you'd call an expert in these matters.
And what's your last name again?
It's Spivey. Just think of me as Spivey.
Okay, well, Spivey.
I have no last name anymore. I've forgotten it so long ago.
Oh, all right.
Philosophically speaking.
Well, Spivey, I suppose then, if... Now that our introduction's out the way, I'm gonna have to give birth to a Pale Rider. He pull his pants down, sit on the toilet, and take a shit.
Oh. And there's some scattered laughter and catcalls, and meanwhile, Duke is led to his prison cell. The door opens and you're gently pushed inside, where you see a blonde guy with a mustache sitting on the toilet. Oh, Wow, thank you. Thank you very much, she says to the guards.
Bad timing, I guess.
Yeah, really bad timing, but it's something you'll have to get used to.
I'm used to it, just not here.
Oh, yeah, transfer, huh?
Mm-hmm. Leavenworth.
Oh, my. I've been here my whole time. Yeah. Anyway, they call me Redford, due to my mustache and blonde hair and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, I'm glad to see you here. You like to play cards?
Sure.
Well, I made my own deck, hard to get, but I put some together, back some milk cartons, stuff like that. Always down for a little wager.
Well, a little soon for that. Let it get situated first.
Well, yeah, like I said, I mean, obviously now is not the time because I'm busy.
Oh, that's true.
But yeah, I've done a bit of casino work in the past. What line of work were you in? Before everything went bad.
Here I just did I'm a murderer. I killed people.
Oh,
and I'll kill you too if you cross me.
Hey, no, not at all.
Kill you in the face.
Now I don't want to be killed in the face or any other way. Listen, I've only got 7 more years in here. I'm not going to cause any trouble for you, pal. Don't worry about that. But listen, murder is a pretty heavy thing to live with. Yeah. You understand? I hate to tell you, you're probably gonna have to talk to Dr. Trudy.
What about?
Well, I don't know what they talk about. She talks to the murderers. They have a little murderer group. They got to sit down and talk about their murder club, talk about their feelings and so on and so forth, and making amends to families, writing letters. I'm not sure exactly what goes into, but
Good.
FYI.
Because I'm guilty. I'm very guilty of the crime.
You look guilty.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you have no problem from me there, boss.
Got this spider web tattoo. Makes me look even more guilty.
Well, tell you what, you look like you probably fit right in with the Pale Riders.
I don't think I'd get along with them. I was in another little motorcycle club of my own. We don't see eye to eye.
Well, listen, you pretty much have to get along with them in this place, unless you're gonna go join up with the dog pack. But you don't look like the type.
What are they all about?
Well, I don't know. Their leader is named Sugar Tits. But
oh boy!
Don't let the name fool you. Sugar Tits Leonard. He's tough as hell. He's huge black dude, okay? And he don't take nothing from nobody. But like I said, they've got cell blocks A and B pretty much locked down, to be honest with you, because they'll take anybody. The Pale Riders only take white dudes. So you found just the wrong cell block if you're not into the Pale Riders, I'll tell you that.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Which club are you in?
Well, I'm not really in any specific club. You see, I'm friends with everybody because I run a little. You make sure he looks both ways at the door. I run a little game, you understand? Let's just say Officer Davis, between you and me, a bit of a soft touch. He owes some mutual friends of mine some money, so we have a little game we like to do on Saturday nights around here when Officer Davis is on watch, and you can think of me as the house in this little house game.
Okay.
So I don't have to cow down to anybody too much, but I tell you, I try to stay on the good side of everyone, especially the Pale Riders. King Kelly is nobody to mess with. Now, you've never heard the name King Kelly before, but he's obviously the leader of the Pale Riders in here. And I'll tell you what, it won't be King Kelly that comes after you if you piss them off. It's going to be Ross the Hoss. And you've heard of Ross the Hoss. He was famous back in the late 70s and mid-70s. He was famous among the motorcycle clubs. Definitely a multiple times murderer. Yeah, he's sort of King Kelly's chief enforcer. Somebody to watch out for, man. Be careful at dinner time.
I will.
All right, man. Well, after it was afternoon when you arrived, and after that exercise in the yard, everybody starts lining up to go into the cafeteria. There's a big buzzer and the door's open. You guys get to go outside and stand in a line. And this is, when I say outside, I mean outside of your cell blocks. Frank, you're still probably standing more or less close to Spivey, and he's like, Yeah, that's where we eat and everything. They also have movie night in there. Very popular, very popular. You gotta have good behavior to get to movie night, but sometimes they even have popcorn. It's a couple days, maybe a day or two old, so it's stale, but they put some of that hot yellow grease on it, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. And imitation butter, boy, that's good stuff.
Yeah, you know, hey, you guys look like you go to the same barber, he says as you come up, and you're both kind of coalescing there in line. How you doing, Spivey?
Hello there. I'm Duke.
Duke, okay, yeah. So, you guys know each other?
Yes, sort of. So I certainly say we're acquaintances. In any case.
Shh, it's Stroker. Who? Stroker. He's awful. Well, says a voice. And this guy walks up, and there's like 3 or 4 younger guys following him. These guys look tough, but not big and bulky and beefy. Lean, sinewy. Ooh, I do so love when the new meat comes in. Let me look you up and down, boys. Meanwhile, Spivey is like trying to hide behind you, more or less, Frank. He looks you both up and down. Well, let me tell you, there's lots of advantages to being friends with Stroker. I'm gonna have to see you boys later in the showers, maybe, and see which one of you I pick to be my new punk.
Mr. Stroker, sir.
Oh, I like the way that sounds. Say that again.
I just have one question. Are you with the Pale Riders?
Well, I tell you what, I ain't with the dog pack, and I ain't no Mormon. You know, the Pale Riders, they real men. They know how to get things done. So I say, yeah, I'm with the Pale Riders. Who you with, boy?
Well, it's kind of a funny story.
Oh, I like Stroker likes funny stories. How about later on, me and you curl up with a little bottle of raisin wine from the toilet, and you tell me all your stories.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh no,
y'all make wine in the toilet?
Of course we do. Best wine you ever had. Just a
I
night
wouldn't
of
drink his wine.
Well,
I don't think it's wine he wants me to drink.
Oh, well, that's fair. Go. You stop talking and move on in line, said the guard.
Punch him right in the dick.
You're gonna punch Stroker in the dick?
Yeah, if I can.
All right.
Here we go now.
Stroker, he was sort of semi-distracted by the guard, but it was a high tension moment. He's not completely unready for it.
I wouldn't think so.
So let's anyway, just as the guards are going to try to get you guys moving, and of course the second any physical action breaks out, everybody kind of moves away a few steps and starts yelling at the top of their lungs. So there's pretty much suddenly chaos within a millisecond. Now let's both roll our power dice and compare our results.
Oh,
now, Stroker has a good power, and it looks like he only rolls a fair result though in this.
Well, I rolled a mediocre results.
Okay, well,
I rolled 3 minus.
you lash out to punch him in the dick, but he backs up. He goes, "Ooh, you're gonna have to be a little quicker than that, boy."
Oh, I'll be quicker next time.
And now the guards finally come up, and one of them spins you around and does a whole sucker punch right in the gut. Unless you want to stop it, you might just take it in the gut.
I'll see what happens if I take it.
All right. Well, what's going to happen? He's just going to knocks the wind out of you and sets an example for everybody. Listen, you're new here, all right? Says the guy. You look up, see his name tag is Davis, and you wouldn't necessarily know that Davis is a soft touch, but you've heard that. And so as he kind of helps you back up, not going to have that kind of behavior around here.
Just get my bearings, sir.
Yeah, well, get your bearings on your own time. You're going to get yourself hurt or killed, maybe. And I'll have to fill out a lot of paperwork, so be cool. All right, Stroker, keep moving. I have a feeling we're going to see each other again. And listen, boy, you don't have to punch me if you want to touch me there. But I think you're the one that's going to get touched. And he kind of walks off with his little posse following him. And then it's into the dining hall. And you can see there's like a big whitewashed wall on one side where they must project these movies he's talking about on movie night. But it's just a great big long hall, and you stand in line with everybody else to get your food. And what it seems to be is kind of some like wet ham and a snot-like gravy on some bread. And there's a little fruit cup with a little plastic lid on it, and a brownie, and some extremely wet salad. It's not wet from any kind of dressing or anything. It's just wet, like it's been sitting in water. And after going through the line and getting all that slopped down, it's not like you have assigned seating or anything like that. And I imagine you'll...
Yeah, Frank, even though I don't really like you too much, I think we ought to stick together in this mess hall.
I reckon that's not a bad idea at all now, but I heard the Pale Riders is around here, and I don't want to sit with them, but
No.
you know anything about this other the not the religious nuts, but the other guys, the
Dog pack?
or something? Yeah, you know anything about them?
No. Might be our best bet, though. Do some intel on them. Find out if we're a good fit.
Excuse me a minute.
Excuse me.
There's a guy walking past. He's got his tray still in his hand. I couldn't help it over here. You talking about the dog pack?
That's right. I think we was.
Well, I got a message for you from Sugar Tits.
All right.
Sugar Tits is the man behind the dog pack, you understand now?
You say his name is Sugar Tits.
Sugar Tits.
All right.
Because he's a sweet thing to
right.
everybody but you. Now, it's your first night. That means you got to give Sugar Tits your brownie. And that's exactly the reaction from a lot of the people in the table around you, but they're all looking at you with this look like it's a joke they've already heard or seen a million times. Come on now, you got to give up the brownie for Sugar Tits.
I'll give him more than just my brownie. I'll just hand the whole tray.
Ooh. Well, now listen, brother's got to eat. And he slides off the brownie onto his own tray. Now, how about you? You gonna give Sugar Tits your brownie? Or am I gonna have to tell Sugar Tits that you're not cooperating? Maybe you one of them Pale Riders.
No, but in fact, I am part of a club already.
Oh yeah, what club you part of?
Well, might as well say it out loud. I'm in the Night Rangers.
Suddenly, everything it's like a little more quiet all of a sudden. Yeah, well, you gonna give up that brownie? Well, I'm not gonna have to tell Sugar Tits that the Night Rangers ain't cool.
Now look, how about you take half of it and I'll take the other half.
Give Sugar Tits your brownie, boy.
That's right, good Sugar Tits your brownie, boy.
All right, this one time, then
That's what I said on the first night. It's a very gentle tribute when you consider what Sugar Tits could do to you.
Right, I'll give him the brownie and then we'll find out what this dog pack's all about.
Well, what the dog pack's all about right now is brownies. And he walks back to his table where there's a bunch of people laughing. And there's this guy, he's huge. I mean, he looks like if Jabba the Hutt was a black dude. And he's like shiny bald, too. And his suit just barely fits on him. And he looks over at your table and blows a kiss. That must be Sugar Tits over at the other table. Meanwhile, though, there's kind of a shadow coming up from the other direction. Both of you turn around, and there's this immense guy standing there. He's got a bristly red beard, but his face is a little messed up, like maybe he had some burn scarring a long time ago, so the beard doesn't come in, nice and full. It's like patchy and mangy looking. Same way with the red hair on his head. And
he's the ginger hound.
Boy's got mange.
And Spivey, who's sitting nearby, goes, "Oh no, it's Ross the Hoss." Now, there's a name you've heard before. Again, this is Ross the Hoss, who's said to be the chief enforcer of King Kelly, who is the leader of the Pale Riders. Well, says Ross the Hoss. Looks like we got ourselves a couple of Night Rangers. At least that's what I hear.
Yeah, I figured you caught me when we came in, so might as well, admit to it.
Well, I'm afraid that puts us in an awkward social position, doesn't it?
I reckon so.
But that ain't a man's fault if he's sent here, you understand. So I'm gonna give you the same choice that King Kelly gives every other motorcycle club member who comes here. You stand up right now and you tell this whole cafeteria that the Night Rangers are nothing but a bunch of pussies. Just a bunch of little sister Christians.
Oh, boy. Now, I'll tell you what. I already gave Sugar Tits my brownie. Now, you best get motoring. What's your price for flight?
I want you to give me that salad. No. I want a piece of ham. That's all I want. No. Now, he says, nope. Then you get a chance to join the Pale Riders and repent the error of your ways.
I won't do it.
You won't do it?
No, sir.
All right, well, how about this then? And with a lightning-like movement for a guy so big, he reaches into his pocket, and you can see he's got a little shiv, probably made from a toothbrush, and he attacks you, the speaker. And with that being said, he only gets a good result, so we'll see how you do. And, of course, the cafeteria goes wild at this point with screams.
Okay. We're running power?
Yeah.
Okay. So good.
Well, you both have a good result, so there's a struggle. You grab his arm probably, or dodge out of the way. But now you've got something you can do, Frank, in this same millisecond of activity if you want.
It's hoping that he's like kind of distracted. They're distracting each other. I'm gonna try to get that shiv out of his hand.
Okay.
That seems like the least sort of violent and most useful to the guards thing I can
Yeah,
do.
He'll try to stop you from doing that, but
I just get a good.
he also gets a good. So I can see there's kind of a three-way struggle going on now. Meanwhile, the prisoners are all violently cheering. You can see there's guards already running over this way. One of them has a shotgun. And Ross the Hoss, again, tries to wrench his arm away and stab you. And this time he gets a great result. And what did you get?
Fair.
Well, and you can check 2 boxes off your little damage track there, because Duke is now beaten down. Boom. And that means you kind of fall back from him for a second. And there's this huge cheering from one block of the cafeteria, which must be where most of the Pale Riders are sitting. And meanwhile, what are you doing, Frank?
I start screaming, Shiv, Shiv, Shiv! And then I just go for it again, I guess, which I have almost no chance of getting.
All right. Never know.
That's not going to work.
Well,
It's mediocre.
yeah, that's not going to work. But just about this time, the guards come running up. And unless you guys want to fight the guards, which
As soon as there's
is never
guards,
a terrible idea.
I just want it to be clear that I'm going for the weapon, and as soon as the guards appear, I'm hands up.
Yeah, and they grab you and throw you on the ground anyway. Same with you. And then about 6 of them jump on Ross the Hoss. And there's all kinds of crazy cheering and stuff like that happening now. Everybody, both of you, please raise your prison reputation from terrible to poor, as you have stood up to the Pale Riders, basically in front of everyone. That being said, you two are also dragged away. You don't get to finish your dinner. And you're taken to the hole. 2 separate...
I didn't do nothing.
Yeah, whatever. Tell it to the hole. So the guards are dragging you. You're both thrown into the hole. They're just basically 2 small cells without even a toilet. There's just a drain in the floor. And you both have to sit in there all night.
Wait, you said 2 separate?
Yeah, you're not the same. Yeah, it's like they drag you down into a hallway, in fact, where it looks like there are 4 separate cells. And it is down in the basement of not cell block D, but the administration building. You're dragged across the yard. And they drag Ross off too and throw him into one of them. Only you get the sense he's going to be in there for a lot longer. There's being at least a tiny bit of leeway given to the fact that it's your first night, and maybe because you were going through the shiv, and so on and so forth. But you don't really see what the reaction is for the rest of the night, and certainly the rest of your night passes without incident unless you can think of something to do in the hole.
Well, are we in connecting cells?
I'd say that's highly likely. Sure.
Right, so we might be able to, if there's like a vent or something, I've seen a lot of movies where they do that. They can talk to each other through the vent.
Yeah, I didn't specifically know if there's a vent or not, but I'm going to assume that they've probably not got a vent leading directly in between cells.
Yeah.
Can you hear me singing? I'm busting into song,
Okay.
Convicted of a felony. They drag me off to jail.
And through the walls you can hear a voice, like the voice of an angel. A southern fried angel.
Sounds kind of familiar, that song, but somehow different.
Transferred to penitentiary, the Hardgate Hotel. Now I'm so lonely, baby.
To the strains of Hardgate Hotel by Frank Williams Jr. You eventually fall asleep the first 9 hours. You're just beaten down, so you can go ahead and take your damaged track back to normal. The next morning, you guys are given some slop for breakfast, and instead of being taken directly back to your cells, you're taken through the administration building, up a secure elevator by 4 guards, and into...
Simultaneously, or...?
Yeah, simultaneously. Okay. And into a big office that is overlooked, with a great big window that's overlooking the prison. You can see all the different buildings of the prison from up here in this office. And there's a backgammon board on a table and a big desk. And a guy with a suit and tie looks totally normal. Young guy, maybe like 30, 31. And you two are both sat down. You're not uncuffed, though. Your ankles and your wrists are still cuffed, but you're sat down in comfortable chairs in front of this guy's desk. And he's watching people break rocks in the gravel-making yard down below. Turns around. Wow, hello, fellas. I'm the warden. Name's Mason Wells. How are you?
Wow, howdy, Warden. How are you doing today?
Hello, sir.
Well, I know nobody likes to be in prison, fellas, but listen, that kind of fracas we had last night in the cafeteria, boy, you just can't have that.
Would you rather me join a gang? I turned them down,
Well, I'm not sure what
started the whole thing.
Well, I'm not sure what started it, but you know what? Every time there's a fight, I get somebody in here saying, but he started it. You're in charge of your own behavior. Is it Mr. Dale? Is that right?
That's right.
All right. Tell him, Mr. Williams, you guys are both in charge of your own behavior. Wouldn't you agree that you're both in charge of your own behavior? Can you be okay even if other people aren't okay?
Well, how long have you been a warden?
18 months. My father got... the county commissioner thought I would be well suited for the job.
You see, down on the floor, certain things happen, and
It's kill or be killed.
It's not like elementary school.
Well, now that really sounds like more of a conversation to have with Officer Howell, who's got a lot more experience in these matters of, I know there's some nasty, bad things that happen sometimes that hurt our feelings or maybe even hurt our bodies.
Now, I had to give Sugar Tits my brownie.
Well, yes, I understand that's sort of a ritual, but I understand, what's a brownie? I gotta be honest with you, fellas, the brownies they serve you guys, they're really not very good.
Now, I'm not meaning to talk bad about the food service at this facility, but, well, it's prison food now, you understand.
Well, that's true, but we do try to make it as healthful and nutritious as we possibly can. Oh, the phone is ringing. He goes, will you all excuse me? You hear the door open behind you guys, and if you look, Assistant Warden Howell has come in to the room as well, and he's waiting while this guy talks on the phone. You can tell from the way he answers the phone, it's not an official call. Hello? Oh, well, hey, you. Oh, well, just, fellas, just remember, warning, okay? No more hijinks and shenanigans in the cafeteria. Okay, you're there to eat, not there to be cool, okay? So just remember that.
I'm gonna kill him.
All right, if you two are done with the nursery lesson. Says,
Where the hell did this prison find this guy?
He's the son of the county commissioner.
Yeah.
But don't worry about him.
Well, that sounds like nepotism, boy.
Whatever it is, it's none of your business, says Assistant Warden Howell. Now it's time for you guys to go back. Next time you get in a fight like that, you're going to be in that hole for a lot longer, you understand?
Did you place bets on that brawl we had?
I don't place bets.
Okay. First.
And I'm done fraternizing with cons. It's time for you guys to go to work. You're gonna have to skip your shower and breakfast.
Well, all right, if you insist, sir. But I have one question, if I may.
One final question, and then you're getting to work.
What's a guy supposed to do out on the floor when he is approached by a man with bad intentions?
You throw your hands into the air. You yell, "Danger, danger," and the guards will help you. And of course,
That sounds like the pussiest shit I ever heard in my life. I'm just gonna get my ass killed in here.
well, in Game Master to players, that also is a sure way to lower your prison reputation.
Yes, I assume.
Yes, but that's the only way you will not get punished in a fight. Is danger, danger, and so you both assigned to work, as you heard in the welcome speech that this same Assistant Warden Howell gives you, and you got the sense by now that Assistant Warden Howell is, for all intents and purposes, the actual warden.
Yeah, seems that way. Because this other guy's just like this most smarmy. I mean, you made him well played, and making him the most punchable fucking character.
Now, we don't punch. We don't punch. That's bad. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not bad. It's a bad choice. You're a good man, Frank, but you're going to make bad choices. That's why you're here. Now, he didn't say any of that, of course, but you can imagine him saying such things as you're led across the open compound, past where they're breaking rocks in the hot sun. There's big old piles of rocks. There's even a small earth mover, and
I mean, like a bobcat.
Yeah, like a little
thing?
bobcat-sized earth mover, and a forklift as well is parked over by a big building with smoke coming out of the top that you think must be the laundry. It's steam, not smoke, coming out of the top. So you can see the laundry from here, but you're led past the rock pile to another large building, and you can hear the sounds of clockwork-style machinery from in there. You're both set in front of a machine that literally punches a certain sequence of holes in a piece of metal, and it keeps moving, and you punch it again, and it keeps moving, and an Officer Simmons comes out to show you how to do all this. So anyway, fellas, that's basically how it works. You do that, you're on for a 6-hour shift, we have a break, you're on for 2 more hours, and then that's it. Any questions?
Is it the only job in here?
Well, that's where everybody starts. You do a good job here, maybe you get to be an office clerk, librarian, something like that.
No, all right.
All right, but you got to do a good job in here, and you got to build up trust. You understand, fellas?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There are banks who are relying on us to make the faceplates for these ATMs. And you're going to make 30 cents today. Now, you can use that in the commissary to buy yourself, some cigarettes if you save up your money, and other things like that. But we're not screwing around in here, all right? I like to be cool to you until you're not cool to me. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Understood.
All right. And the place is pretty well guarded, and as he leaves you to your work, just from the other side of the workbench area, as the line is up and running now, and if you talk to each other or whatever else, you got to keep punching your hole at the right time in these drilled faceplates. And right on the other side of that, from you, is well, it must be fate. We see each other again. And it's Stroker.
Is he working?
Yeah, he's working, and he's on the other side of the line now. He's doing something a little more delicate, a little more detailed, a smaller faceplate on a smaller belt. Well, every day we just gonna get to spend together. I didn't see you boys in the showers this morning.
Got those privileges taken away.
Well, you boys you're not making friends anywhere. Well, I got some good news for you. King Kelly says I can have you to do whatever I want with, and he just might help me get you. What y'all think of that?
I'm ignoring you. I'm just like, how thick? By the way, how thick are these faceplates we're punching holes in?
Oh, not even half an inch thick.
Okay.
Pretty small. Yeah.
And are they like drills, or are those like?
No, it's like a big press. It's like a snaps the holes down through it.
And what happens to the little pieces of metal that
They go off below the conveyor belt onto a smaller conveyor belt where they appear to be taken off somewhere to...
can I harvest them? Would it be possible?
Well, man would have to be pretty cunning to do such a thing. In fact, I would say a man would have to have at least great cunning
Oh my!
to pull that off. But you never know.
Well, doesn't seem likely, but I will give it a shot. I do not succeed.
Well, unfortunately, you think maybe if the machine, if it wasn't running, like when it stops for a few minutes, it'd be a much better time to slip your hand in there. But,
What are you trying to do there?
maybe at the end or beginning of a shift.
Got some kind of use for those?
Well, you never know. Metal shavings fragments could come in handy. Could be sharpened. Could be thrown in the eyes of a potential rapist.
Well,
That's-
there's a few
true.
holes that they're punching out, like maybe for a little miniature screen, and like an old school. Of course, it'd just be a little touch screen, These ATMs being a pretty new thing, relatively. They're decent size. I mean, you could theoretically form a small metal blade from one of them if you could get it out of here. But it's definitely hard to do while the machine's moving. And Officer Simmons, at the end of a long shift, stops the machines, but he's unfortunately come right up to you at this time. All right, now, I just want to show you what we're doing here. I'm marking this clipboard to show you've earned 30 cents. You can spend that in the commissary. You can get yourself a pack of ramen for that. I'll tell you that right now, ramen noodles. You're going to save up for something more a little later. You get yourself a pack of cigarettes for 90 cents, so on and so forth. But you did good work today, so you notice how I'm putting this check mark in that column. That's how it works. You boys understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hey, get some ramen. You can sharpen that into a chef. Uncooked ramen.
Yeah, I imagine you probably could. That's a good point.
It's a good idea.
I'll learn that in Leavenworth.
Question, sir. What's the schedules like? I don't necessarily want to be working alongside that stroker fella.
Well,
I'm afraid we're gonna have an altercation.
in terms of job assignments, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Anyone who has an altercation in here gets to break rocks for 6 weeks. So I guarantee you Stroker doesn't want to do that any more than you do. So you just mind your own business and ignore him best you can. I saw him talking to you. I saw you ignoring him. You're doing the right thing.
All right.
What's that he's working on there? Something different?
Well, what we got there is, you ever heard of a car phone?
Nope.
Put him in the console of BMWs. And he's working on the faceplate for that.
Car phones. Wow. Great.
Well, this is a private prison, you understand. So just think of yourselves as really cheap labor. Hey, it's better than being in China, right? All right, guys, that's enough chit-chat. We got to get moving. Well. He wasn't sitting there listening the whole time, but as you're walking out and everybody's sort of filtering back across the yard towards the cell blocks, because pretty soon it's going to be dinner time. You have free time for about an hour. You can go out into the yard or whatever. Well, proper little pet of Officer Simmons, aren't we? Says Stroker, and he's got his little posse with him. And he's coming right up to all y'all now. And there's a few people starting to back away.
I'm just walking to the yard.
Oh, where are you walking? Where are you going?
It was my understanding now that it was time to go outside and get some exercise.
Oh, I'll give you some exercise.
I don't reckon you're gonna.
All right, well, how about you, big boy? You want to have a little exercise with Stroker?
I don't think so.
No? Oh, well, you're missing out. But don't worry. I'll see you later.
My brownie's still recovering.
Hey, I'd just like to see you try. I got booby traps. Booty traps.
Now, you're about towards the yard now.
This isn't my first rodeo.
There's more people standing around. Stroker goes, wait a minute. You'd like to see me try? Believe me, the only thing that's stopping me from trying right now is I don't really feel like spending the night in the hole. But don't you worry. The first time when it's just me and it's just you.
Then you're gonna spend the night in the hole?
Not in my hole.
All right, fellas, move along. Get it in there. Stop jawing. You chatty Cathy's. Keep it moving. Well, you get into the yard, and Stroker and his guys just hang around at the other end of the yard in a little cluster, obviously talking about you, looking over at you, things like that. Every now and then, Stroker blows a kiss in your direction, something like that. Boy, I tell you, you guys, this little fella comes up. He kind of looks like Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother, Johnny Bark. And boy, I tell you what, you guys, well, you're really making a lot of enemies quick. How you doing? I'm Lippy Mo.
Hey, Lippy Mo, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Boy, I tell you, you guys are just gonna get yourselves killed in here. You need to make a friend.
Well, I did give Sugar Tits my brownie.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I'm thinking I might check out them Muscovites and see what they're about. I'm no Mormon.
Well, you mean the Musterites?
Musterites.
Yeah. Whoa. I don't know. I'm not one of them either. But no, I'm just saying. But tell you what, if you say you're in with Sugar Tits, you need to get yourself transferred to cell block A or B. Boy, I tell you what, I heard that the Pale Riders will come at you in the night. They got a guard on their side that'll open your cell while you're asleep.
Ooh.
See what you can do to get yourself transferred if you can.
That doesn't sound good at all. Nah, they were coming in. Fortunately, I sleep like a cat, but
Well, I know a guy who can get you transferred. But I'm gonna have to have a little something from you fellas.
You want a favor or something?
I just want a pack of cigarettes. Give me a pack of cigarettes, I'll get you an introduction to somebody who can help you.
I don't have enough for cigarettes. I've got to buy some ramen noodles, so...
Well, when you save up enough for a pack of cigarettes, come see me, Lippy Mo.
well, nah, we might have enough for a pack of cigarettes if we pool our resources. Allendale.
All right,
At least a pack of bucks or whatever cheap-ass cigarettes there are out here these days.
Well, I can get the cheapest kind. You got 60 cents? Between the two of yous?
how much is a pack of ramen? I got to have that ramen. I'm gonna sharpen it.
Well, I'm afraid you're just gonna have to come back and see me later. But I know a guy, like I say, he can get you into another cell block if you do him a favor. But listen, I don't want the Pale Riders to see me talking to you guys for too long. Get away from me, nerds, he says. And he winks at you. And he moves over towards the weights and starts spotting for another dude, it's lifting weights out in the yard. And you guys want to do anything else while you're out here in the yard?
Well, I was actually thinking, maybe we try to... we obviously got to get rid of this problem we have with... what's his name?
Well, which one? Stroker?
Stroker.
Yeah, Stroker is kind of an immediate... He seems to he's just picking on you guys. He's just picking you as the ones he's gonna break.
I had the thought maybe we could sneak into the workplace and maybe sabotage his little work area somehow. Maybe at least get him to where he's not going to be working with us, and maybe we could actually have it to where he might injure himself in some way. But that doesn't... We'd have to do that right away before tonight, I think, because I think they might come... He might be coming for us tonight. Maybe we can set up some type of actual protection or something.
Well, I don't know what the right thing to do is now. I don't. We're talking about possibly doing some kind of sabotage on that machine he was working on. Now, I don't. We'd have to look at it, but I know one thing we could do if it was just the three of us in there. We could probably see to it that he injured himself in a most grievous way, possibly that he would not then subsequently be able to implicate us in if we could make it look like an accident somehow. And I'm not sure how easy that would be.
Well, we've got to do some scouting around, I suppose.
Yeah, it's type of information gathering that maybe only time and familiarity will hopefully give you a clearer option. The immediate problem being the warning Lippy Mo gave you that possibly there's a guard on cell block C who's in with the Pale Riders.
One possibility, we could do something to get us in the hole again. Probably the safest place for us.
Well, he wouldn't be the first person to do that, get themselves thrown in the hole
On purpose, yeah.
on purpose. But as you guys are standing in line to get into the cafeteria, the buzzer rings. All right, convicts, exercise is over. Time for chow. You line up to get into the cafeteria. There is a doctor. You can tell he's a doctor. He's got that classic, white doctor's coat. And, you. Duke Allendale, right?
That's correct.
Listen, I'm Nurse Falwell, and I'm here to let you know you need to report tomorrow right after your work detail to group with Dr. Trudy. we're just going to talk about some things. And,
Let's talk then, yes.
yeah, we're just going to talk. I just want to let you know about it, all right?
Now, what time do you say, 4 o'clock?
No, just immediately after your work detail. As soon as you leave there and you get your check mark on your clipboard that shows you did a good day's work, and you come straight over back to this administrative center, all right? They'll take you up. You can meet the other fellas and talk with Dr. Trudy.
Okay.
All right, then. So, now you're in the cafeteria again, and the same fella who came up to ask you with a brownie, for sugar tits earlier. Well, hello again.
Howdy.
So I couldn't help Sugar Tits. My man Sugar Tits couldn't help but overhear through the grapevine that maybe you boys have got a problem.
Well, we might indeed have some kind of problem. As a fella goes by the name of Stroker who wants to shove his poker in my choker.
I know the fella. Yes, I do. But I would say your bigger problem might be the Pale Rider, son.
Well, he is one. I think he said.
Well, he's sort of way down on the chain, as it were. But they say King Kelly has gone ahead and given him the green light to get you boys.
That's what he told us. Yes, that's correct.
Well, now, I gotta be honest with you. Sugar Tits has been watching you. Because Sugar Tits got eyes everywhere. And he likes what he sees. So he's gonna give you a chance to get in with the dog pack. Now, what do you boys think about that?
Well,
how do they feel about country music?
It depends on whether we talk about Charlie Pride.
I love Charlie Pride. Well, actually, never heard of him, but
all right,
because he stole all my music, I'm sure, just like Hank Williams Jr. did.
You saying Charlie Pride stole? You saying Hank Williams Jr. stole your music?
That's right.
Oh boy, here he goes again. Don't get him started.
Well,
I've been hearing this for a long time now.
I think I see. But I'll tell you this. I'm happy to come over and you can make an introduction to Sugar Tits right now. And if you pay homage to him, and you let everybody know that you his, well, then you're going to be protected by the dog pack. I'll tell you what. And all you got to do is give him a little kiss. That's all. Just all you guys to do, just give him a little kiss right on the foot.
Oh,
you just kiss Sugar Tits' foot.
Think I'll be joining the muster rights.
Well,
wait till you find out what they make you kiss.
From what I understand, there's a lengthy initiation process, and they don't care for outsiders much. They keep to their own.
In prison, when they find faith, maybe I'll find some faith. Maybe I'll convert.
Well, okay, but I'm just trying to tell you that you either with Sugar Tits and you under his protection, or you're not under his protection. Ain't nothing he could do for you. If you run into trouble with nobody else, all you gotta do is kiss his foot. It's a sweet foot. I done kissed it. Enzo kissed it. He points back over the table where Sugar Tits sits. Usually it's the same table he was at last time. You get the feeling it's his table in the cafeteria. But there's a the tallest guy you ever seen. Gangly. He's maybe almost 7 feet tall, but he's skinny. You know what I mean? He's not like a big, huge, bulky guy. He goes, that's Enzo. He's the fastest motherfucker out there. Now, he's what you might call Sugar Tits' enforcer. He kind of plays that same role that Ross the Hoss plays for King Kelly when Ross the Hoss isn't languishing in the hole for fucking with y'all. But Enzo, I'll tell you what now, Enzo, he's got a swift hand with that razor, you understand. And if Sugar Tits ain't happy with how everything is going, then ain't nothing he gonna be able to do to stop Enzo from coming over and slitting your throat. Now, I ain't saying we're gonna slit your throat, but I'm saying that's a razor that can fight for you or fight against you. And if you lucky, that's a razor that ignores you entirely. But I'm gonna have to go back, I guess, from what I think I'm hearing, I'm gonna have to go back and tell Sugar Tits you don't like to kiss his feet. I think he might be afraid that you think he got smelly feet.
Well, I certainly don't think he's got smelly feet. Hey, I'll tell you what. Why don't you give him my brownie again? Just as a small token of my appreciation for keeping that razor sheath.
Well, I don't think he's going to want just one brownie. You know how it is with a brownie. When you eat a brownie, you want another brownie. So I think maybe if both of my friends here give him the brownie, then maybe he think about giving you, say, 24 hours to make up your mind. Maybe for one night you will be under his protection.
That sounds reasonable to me.
All right. So you guys give the brownie, right?
And for just for future reference, I don't even like brownies. So if I...
You like fudge.
So if I could... this could be some kind of arrangement where I just give up the brownie every night.
Well, maybe, because as you can see, Sugar Tits likes his brownies. Because Sugar Tits looks like he's consumed several billion brownies in his time. Well, that's again just something I'm going to have to talk to Sugar Tits about.
Will you let me know then?
Well, hopefully the next time we talk, it's me talking to you and not Enzo.
What if I could get some kind of hookup on some other sort of sweet, like pudding?
Wait a minute, you saying you get pudding?
Maybe I've got connections.
We ain't had no pudding in here ever since Pudding Box Jones picked the big one.
This would be something I'd have to bring in from the outside, smuggle in.
I might be able to get hold of some marshmallow fluff.
You got to
Well,
hook up
it's been a long time since Sugar Tits been fluffed up.
Well, I definitely have to see what we can do.
I never bought too much marshmallow fluff.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. All right. Sounds like maybe you got something you'd like to put on the table. Have Sugar Tits take a look at.
As we're...
Something sweet.
Now, as we're getting I'm losing my voice. I forget what I'm sounding like. I'm trying to be like Elvis. As we get acclimated to this situation, well, we can figure out what kind of connections we've got and what sort of favors we might be able to offer.
That's right, but listen, Sugar Tits can only do so much for so little a time if you're gonna stay in that cell block C. You understand?
Yeah. I've got a lead on that as well.
But for tonight, y'all protected while Sugar Tits considers your arrangement. And also, you don't go talking to Sugar Tits directly, understand? You talk to me, and I talk to Sugar Tits.
Okay, what did you say your name was?
He's Headley. And,
all right, well,
you don't want to know how I got my name. It says that right here in my notes.
Alrighty then.
He's like the talking head for the gang, sort of his job. And, because Sugar Tits is old school. He's like the King of Persia. You got to talk to the floor, and then the floor will talk to the King of Persia's shoe, and then so on and so forth. So, anyway, with some degree of confidence about going into the evening, as you guys are walking back, and you got about 45 minutes of free time where the cells are not, the doors aren't shut yet, okay? Meaning just milling around in that open area in cell block C. There's a lot of looks in your direction, a lot of angry whispers, a lot of threatening eye contact, things like that, but nobody's actually messing with you openly. Whatever behind the scenes arrangement has been temporarily worked out for your protection is just barely in place. And you even see at one point a guy who must be King Kelly in there, because everyone is very deferential towards him. And he's a bald guy, white guy, with a swastika tattooed on his neck. And he barely says anything. People whisper into his ear, and he nods or he shakes his head, so on and so forth. And every now and then they're all looking over at you. But at one point a guard comes in, and he leans over and whispers something in King Kelly's ear.
Can you see the name tag on that guy?
Yeah, the name tag on that guard here, you are assuming is the guard who they're talking about is Krat, K-R-A-T-T. And Krat, you see, he looks over towards you while he's whispering, and then King Kelly shakes his head. And then Officer Krat goes back to what he's doing. And unless you do anything else that night, there's a few card games going around, and things like that. You could talk.
Is it too late to go buy some stuff?
I don't know. You can go ask the guard on duty at the gate.
Okay.
Well, you go up there and you see Officer Davis standing there. He's the guy who's in charge of letting people out or not to go to the commissary. What is it, Duke?
Well, I hadn't much gotten a chance to go and buy something yet with my earnings.
I warned you yesterday. You got thrown in the hole. You didn't even get any breakfast today. I told you that's how it was going to go down, you guys. There's only so much I can do.
Well, I appreciate you telling us
Look,
helping us out.
It's only 15 minutes till lights out. I'm not supposed to let anybody go to the commissary this late.
Well, surely I can do you some kind of favor as well.
Well, it's not about favor, but what do you need at the commissary?
Yeah, I need protection.
Protection?
I'm buying some ramen. I'm going to sharpen one end of it. I know this isn't exactly legal, but I was just...
You're telling me this?
It's either this or I'll get, something. I got to stick that ramen somewhere. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, I can't let you go into the commissary right now to buy ramen. That you told me that I could get in a lot of trouble.
Well, what do you want me to do? I just need to get that ramen.
I want you to just don't involve me with any... Listen, just go to the commissary, all right? Just make it quick.
I appreciate that.
Don't tell me any more about what you're doing.
Okay, I won't.
Only because I don't think you got that long to live, frankly. That's the only reason I'm letting you do this. Now, don't take advantage of this.
Don't you know who I am?
No, I have no idea who you are.
Stone Cold Killer, that's who. I'm not afraid of nobody.
Well, then I guess you don't need any ramen, do you?
Well...
And I'm Officer Davis, and I like to be a nice guy when I can, but I'm no pushover. You understand me?
All right.
Just to show you what's what, I think you're going to have to wait till tomorrow for that ramen. What do you think of that?
Maybe I ought to just murder you, too. In the face.
Buddy, I'm going to give you 3 seconds to just think about what you said and quietly walk back to your cell.
I just don't want any people thinking I'm not a murderer.
Well, listen, man. Like I said, I'm going to give you about 3 seconds to turn around and walk back to your cell, or I'm going to have to call the other guards over. It's going to get nasty.
No, you wouldn't want anyone thinking that you were getting bribed or anything.
I'm not getting bribed. I don't take bribes.
Yeah. Okay, well, I just want to make sure our reputations are intact. Maybe you ought to give me a little punch or something so they don't think...
Oh, I see what you're going for here. Oh, man, I don't know. He raises up his nightstick like he's going to hit you with it. He's like he's afraid to fully follow through and punch with it, but he kind of whops you in the side, the meaty part of your side with those. All right, convict, no, you can't go to the commissary right now. Get back here. Eat your ramen later.
Oh, you are a tough son of a bitch, aren't you?
That's right, I'm a tough son of a bitch. You get back there.
All right, then. No more beatings now, okay?
Well, as you walk off, you see Officer Kratt approaching Officer Davis with a smirk on his face, and you hear Officer Kratt, so you're a tough son of a bitch now, huh? Real sarcastically. Anyway, pretty soon your lights out, and there's a loud buzzer sound, and your cell doors close, and the lights do go out, but there's a little bit of ambient light in there. And after a while, I guess you just lay there in the dark.
Hey,
no,
Spivey.
Oh, what? What's up?
You said you produced documents of some kind, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, if I have the right kind of materials.
You ever get anything in from the outside?
What do you mean?
Well,
What do you have in mind?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm actually looking for ideas. I gotta find a way to protect myself. I feel like these pale riders are gonna come after me.
Oh, look, I there's a guy. I've heard there's a guy who he could get you moved. Maybe that's what I've heard anyway.
Yeah, I've got an iron in that fire, but
Oh, you do?
But I'm not sure how long it's gonna take before I can make that happen. So in the meantime, it looked like Kratt might be inclined to let Stroker come over here and do some
Stroker?
stroking. Yeah.
You saying Stroker could come in here?
Well, I got protection sorted tonight from Sugar Tits, but
Oh boy.
but
Oh, boy.
I'm not sure how long that's going to last. I can only give him my brownies so
Listen,
many
here's
times.
what you do. You got the toothbrush, right?
I've got a toothbrush. Yes,
Yes.
I could potentially sharpen it.
Spend tonight sharpening that thing. If Stroker comes in here, he'll get me too. With guilt by association.
Well, now between the two of us, I think we might be able to take him. But
I'm not a fighter. I'm a white collar criminal.
well,
But I could... Listen, I could... I don't know what to tell you. It starts stuff coming in from outside. I can help you maybe put some paperwork together. But you're looking for a weapon. Gosh, I'm not your guy.
All right. Well, I'll start working on that.
Boy, sure, I'm sorry, Frank.
Working on that shit, but that's all right.
I hope you'll look out for me if Stroker comes in here.
Oh, I'm not much of a fighter, but I'll fight with every ounce I got.
There's no way Stroker's ever getting paroled, you know. So he don't care about my skills in paperwork, believe me.
Yeah.
You know, he's a bad guy. You know, he killed 9 kids.
Children?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't too much like that.
Well, anyway, good night, Frank.
Good night. Sorry to freak you out there, buddy.
Well, I guess I'll have bad dreams. Meanwhile, over in your cell, Redford, he's laying there whistling in the darkness while you're trying to sleep.
I wanted to put like a fake body in my bed with clothes, put a decoy, and sleep under my bed. And I'm gonna sharpen my toothbrush.
Gee, what are you doing, man? You really think that'll work? Says Redford. Looks kind of lumpy.
Try.
You need something for the hair.
Yeah, well, you want to give me a sample?
No. I wish we had a mop or something. Well, hey, what do I don't know what you're doing, man. I'm gonna turn around and face the wall and not ask any questions. And but you don't have to have hair. He's just offering his 2 cents. But you gotta kind of roll up the sheet and the one extra jumpsuit that they give you and you sleep underneath. Anyway, in the night, it passes without incident. And your second day at Hardgate is over. And the next morning, the buzzer rings, and it's time for the showers. First stop. All right, convicts, get down to the showers. And one by one, you got to take your little bag with your soap in it, and there's a few... People do have these like disposable razors, but they're so dull and of such poor quality. That's why everybody's sort of unshaven looking in here. But yeah, everybody's marching down to the prison. You notice a Spivey walks really far away from you, and everybody's just got their little underwear on, and they're carrying their towel, and you go to showers. It's all steamy and everything. You can't really see exactly where the guards are standing, but you all enter the showers, and then you hear, well. Looks like it's gonna be a beautiful morning, says Stroker, and that's where I think we'll end this episode here tonight.
That guy again.
So we will, with that, we'll go ahead and sign off, and we'll see everybody in our next episode. So goodbye.